Today is November 6th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through Chapter 8, Two Wives. We'll be reading page 113. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 2. We'll be reading page 137. And of course, we'll read today's 24 Hours a Day and Daily Reflection. So once again, my friends, we've been given a brand new set of 24 hours. Another opportunity to live a life of integrity today, and that is always a good thing and an exciting thing. So with that, let's get to the good stuff. At the Big Book, we're on page 113. If he is enthusiastic, your cooperation will mean a great deal. If he is lukewarm or thinks that he is not an alcoholic, we suggest you leave him alone. Avoid urging him to follow our program. The seed has been planted in his mind. He knows that thousands of men, much like himself, have recovered. But don't remind him of this after he has been drinking, for he may be angry. Sooner or later, you are likely to find him reading the book once more. Wait until repeated stumbling convinces him that he must act. For the more you hurry him, the longer his recovery may be delayed. If you have husband number 3, you may be in luck. Being certain that he wants to stop, you can go to him with his volume as joyfully as though you had struck oil. He may not share your enthusiasm, but he is practically sure to read the book, and he may go for the program at once. If he does not, you will probably not have long to wait. Again, you should not crowd him. Let him decide for himself. Cheerfully see him through more sprees. Talk about his condition or this book only when he raises the issue. In some cases, it may be better to let someone outside the family present the book. They can urge action without arousing hostility. If your husband is otherwise a normal individual, your chances are good at this stage. You would suppose that men in the 4th classification would be quite hopeless, but that is not so. Many of Alcoholics Anonymous were like that. Everybody given them up. Defeat seemed certain. Yet often such men had spectacular and powerful recoveries. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. And on page 137, we left off with a story about how Bill was presented with this great opportunity to work at a hospital and have a nice paycheck as a lay therapist. So let's find out what happens on page 137. Although I asked Charlie for a little time to consider it, my own mind was made up. Racing back to Brooklyn on the subway, I had a seeming flash of divine guidance. It was only a single sentence, but most convincing. In fact, it came right out of the Bible. A voice kept saying to me, "The laborer is worthy of his hire." Arriving home, I found Lois cooking as usual while 3 drunks looked hungrily on from the kitchen door. I drew her aside and told her the glorious news. She looked interested, but not as excited as I thought she should be. It was meeting night. Although none of the alcoholics we boarded seemed to get sober, some others had. With their wives, they crowded into our downstairs parlor. At once, I burst into the story of my opportunity. Never shall I forget their impassive faces and the steady gaze that they focused upon me. With waning enthusiasm, my tale trailed off to the end. There was a long silence. Almost timidly, one of my friends began to speak. "We know how hard up you are, Bill. It bothers us a lot. We've often wondered what we might do about it. But I think I speak for everyone here when I say that what you now propose bothers us an awful lot more." The speaker's voice grew more confident. "Don't you realize," he went on, That you can never become a professional? As generous as Charlie had been to us, don't you see that we can't tie this thing up with the hospital or any other? You tell us that Charlie's proposal is ethical. Sure, it's ethical, but what we've got won't run on ethics only. It has to be better. Sure, Charlie's idea is good, but it isn't good enough. This is a matter of life and death, Bill, and nothing but the very best will do. Challengingly, my friends looked at me as their spokesman continued. Bill, haven't you often said right here in this meeting that sometimes the good is the enemy of the best? Well, this is the plain case of it. You can't do this thing to us. So spoke the group conscience. The group was right and I was wrong. The voice on the subway was not the voice of God. Here was the true voice, welling up out of my friends. I listened and, thank God, I obeyed. "24 hours a day, November 6th. AA thought for the day. Fear and worry had me down. They were increased by my drinking. I worried about what I had done when I was drunk. I was afraid of what the consequences might be. I was afraid to face people because of the fear of being found out. Fear kept me in hot water all the time. I was a nervous wreck from fear and worry. I was a tied-up bundle of nerves. I had fear of failure, of the future, of growing old, of sickness, of hangovers, of suicide. I had a wrong set of ideas and attitudes. When AA told me to surrender these fears and worries to a higher power, I did so. I now try to think faith instead of fear. Have I put faith in place of fear? Meditation for the day. Spiritual power is God in action. God often acts through human beings. Whenever you, however weak you may be, allow God to act through you, then all you think and say and do is spiritually powerful. It is not you alone who produces a change in the lives of others. It is also the divine spirit in you and working through you. Power is God in action. God can use you as a tool to accomplish miracles in people's lives. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may try to let God's power act through me today. I pray that I may get rid of those blocks which keep His power from me. Daily Reflection, November 6th. Going with the flow. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 96. The words I speak when arising in the morning are, I arise, O God, to do Thy will. This is the shortest prayer I know, and it is deeply ingrained in me. Prayer doesn't change God's attitude toward me. It changes my attitude toward God. As distinguished from prayer, meditation is a quiet time without words. To be centered is to physically be relaxed, emotionally calm, mentally focused, and spiritually aware. One way to keep the channel open and to improve my conscious contact with God is to maintain a grateful attitude. On the days when I am grateful, good things seem to happen in my life. The instant I start cursing things in my life, however, the flow of good stops. God did not interrupt the flow. My own negativity did. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading, and it's some great reading as always. I repeat myself a lot on this show, but I love the daily reflection. I love the line, the prayer doesn't change God's attitude toward me. It changes my attitude toward God. That's powerful. I had never thought of it that way. But I would agree with that. It helps me to align my motives with his, to get things off my chest so that I can serve him. So it is about aligning my attitude toward him. And then it talks about gratitude a little later. I mean, when I start focusing on the things I have rather than what I'm missing, that changes my attitude as well. It is definitely an attitude adjustment that keeps my priorities in line. So with that, my friends, that's all we have time for today. As always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon or any other sect or denomination. I'm just a friend in this lifeboat of recovery, really grateful to be here today. And grateful that you're here with me. If you are sober today, my friend, you're a miracle, and I hope you realize that. And if you're not, you're a miracle as well, because you are alive today. And you have the opportunity to change for the better. Whatever that change might look like today, you can take that first step, and you don't have to do it alone. As we've said many times, the very first word in the steps is we. If we are given a brand new set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.